So you got to run those conference calls through those Zoom apps and do those Zoomy things, and your computer's doing one thing, but it's just working as hard as it can, and you want to be able to get on those Zoom calls. Well, you can take a Raspberry Pi and turn it into your own little personal Zoom machine. And we're going to talk about that next on Geek Tech Talk Live with Jeffrey Powers. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine Think Magazine. Put in a geek, you got me, and here we are. You're here, I'm here, we're all here. That's all that matters here. Geekazine, of course, all the socials right there. You can check me out, Think Magazine, put in a geek. Today we are going to take a look at the Raspberry Pi. I love these little computers. These little computers can do a whole lot just for you at a very low price. You can put these together and just have tons of stuff. This is the Raspberry Pi 4. This is the latest of the Raspberry Pis. It's pretty cool. And we're going to talk about this in a second. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this little computer and we're going to set it up so you can use it as a Zoom machine. It's simple, because a lot of times, we're setting up teleconferencing. It doesn't have to be Zoom. It can be other teleconference calls, as long as you can run in a Linux environment. But we're setting up these conference call type situations, but we don't want to add it to our laptop, desktop, iPad, whatever. If you're not connected, people are wondering, where the heck are you? If you are connected, you're wondering, where the heck are they? And if you are, the whole idea is that you need to stay connected. And some people take Zoom calls and they wake up, they get up, they sit down at their desk and they start that Zoom call. They start that teleconference because they got to be with their team as much as possible. So what you would probably do is, if your main computer, you keep all the resources for whatever you're doing on there and do Zoom, you probably get a separate laptop. That type of machine will probably start you at about $300. And you might not have the $300, especially since you're trying to work in this new normal. And that's where we're going to come in. We've got all this stuff right here. What I'm going to do is today I'm going to show you about the Raspberry Pi, setting it up fairly straightforward, and then hooking it up to a camera. We got two cameras here. We got the Logitech 920, which is a very popular camera. You might not be able to get it right now, but Raspberry Pi also has the ability to attach its own camera onto things. So I got this one right here, which has got night light ability. So if you like to keep your lights low, you'll be able to use it. And of course, other accessories right now, but let's get into the main part. Let's talk about the main stuff, the Raspberry Pi itself. This is the unit right here. And we've got 3 models of the Raspberry Pi 4. Now, you don't need to get a Pi 4. You could get a Pi 3 Plus. You can get you can get an older model of Pi, which will be less expensive than these, but for about $40 to $60, that's not too bad. I highly recommend that we get this one right here. This is the Raspberry Pi Model 4 Model B, 2019 quad core 64-bit Wi-Fi with Bluetooth, with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So, and that's this one right here. It's in a case. So it's really small. It basically uses the power from your USB. So you have in this case, it's a USB-C connection, but the older Pis do the micro USB connector, and you'll have to get the cable separately. So with that, and somebody just ordered one off of the live stream. Thank you very much. Every order is a good thing. Thank you very much. Anyway, so basically what this does is this gives you a little computer in a box. Well, they're all computers in boxes, I suppose. But what this has, take a look at this a little bit more. It's got the Broadcom quad-core Cortex A72 ARM chip, 64-bit with 4 gigabyte LDDR4 RAM, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz wireless, but there is an Ethernet jack adapter. And I highly suggest that if you decide that you want to connect up to Zoom using a Pi, it's best if you connect up just using the Ethernet, if you can do that. If you can run a wire to your router, that would be great. But wireless does do the job. The more important thing is your router's being overworked by all the Netflixes and all the gameplay and all the other people working in the house, then wiring this up might be the better solution. You know, you don't need a case around this thing, but it's always nice to have a case. So what I did was I did order this case. It's technically not the brand of case that I had, the company that I got it from, but it's the exact same case. The exact same case, down to this little sticker of the fan. So it must be made by another manufacturer, or this manufacturer changed their name or something like that. I don't know. But this is from Korkia, the Raspberry Pi 4 case. Dual fan, aluminum CNC. It's black. You can get it in a couple different colors, depending on where you get it. And it's got the ability to actually, you can mount this to things. It's got 2 little screw holes on the bottom, so I can mount it to the underside of my desk or on the wall or anything like that, and have it running in the distance. It's got 2 fans on it to keep it cool, so you can run a Zoom call, not all day, maybe for at least the 8 hours that you're working. If you do go Wi-Fi, if you need a little bit more stronger Wi-Fi, this is one I use a lot. It's not the one I have in here, because the one I have in here, I cannot find the brand name anymore. But anyway, this is a good alternative. And the best part about this is it does have an antenna that you can direct. So let's say you have it in another room, you'll be able to move that antenna so you can get a better Wi-Fi signal. And these little nub ones work really well too, and they're very low profile. And then of course you'll have to have HDMI. With the HDMI, I'll show you, well, actually show you over here. So we have the HDMI plugs, and we'll zoom in on this a little bit. We have the HDMI plugs. You will need to get a special HDMI adapter, which I did not add on the list here. Adapter. This is also the adapter that you would get for a GoPro. So you'll want to have that for the Raspberry Pi. The Mini to HDMI converters, or a cable that would go Mini HDMI to HDMI. In this case, for the Raspberry Pi 4, you will need a USB-C power, as opposed to the 3, which was micro USB, like I said before. We have the headphone jack right there, and then we're going to be plugging in a USB microphone into this, so that's not going to be a big deal. While we have this this layout here, I'm going to go on to the next part what we're going to talk about, and that is the camera. Now, the Logitech C920 is one of the best webcams around, but the problem is they are probably out of stock right now. So we have an alternative. This is the Logitech C920 camera. This is a really nice camera if you can get it, because it works on Mac, it works on PC, it works in Linux, and you just basically plug it in, and it's awesome. But everybody wants one, so that's why we have to find an alternative. The alternative is really straightforward, because there are cameras for Raspberry Pi, and we have one right here, and we'll unbox that and we'll plug that in as we go. But first of all, we'll show you with the Logitech 920C. The best part is this is an older model. I've had this for many years, but it hasn't changed in all the years. The newer models actually have screw mounts on the bottom, so you can attach it to a tripod. But as you can see, it can stand on its own. This thing also can connect hook over like a computer monitor, and then you can adjust it. So you have the ability to place it wherever you need to place it, and that's really nice. And like I said, it has a screw mount, so if you do have a tripod for it, you can set it up, no problem right there. Anyway, let's move on from there. Very important to get yourself a good SD card. 64 gigabytes is more than enough, but you can bump it up to the next level. But I use the SanDisk ones. As you can see, the price is just awesome at about $19 for the card, and about $27 for the 128 gigabyte model. So you can't go wrong. I want a quick shout out to the keyboard and keyboard and mouse that I'm going to be using. That's the Logitech MK320. That's a mainstay. It's been around for a few years now. Just amazing. And then I'm going to show you really quick the microphone that I'm going to use. I've actually talked about this microphone a few times. Whatever USB microphone you can get, this is a podium microphone. And the best part is let's say you're going to put this in the corner where it's staying out of the way, and you don't want to have like a headset microphone or anything like that, you can definitely hook up some speakers onto your Raspberry Pi and then plug this microphone in, and you can set it in the corner. It's got a dual gooseneck on it, which allows you to lift it up and lower it, adjust it to where your mouth is, but you can actually set it to the side, and it's pretty low form, out of the way. Gamers will use this type of microphone. Let me call it up on the big screen here really quick. Gamers will use this when they're talking. I've used this in my own webinars and chats because it has great sound to it. It has a mute button to it, so it's green when it's go, red when you are muted, and it has a volume knob to it. Out of all the podium or gooseneck microphones that I've talked about, I like this the most because of those two features, the mute button and the volume control button. I've been in some Zoom conferences where we actually adjust all of our microphone sound before we start off, because it then gets recorded and put up on YouTube and all the other socials. So they want to make sure you have somewhat decent audio. And so every time I use this, I've been listening to the recordings, and it's like, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but for what you need to do, it does a great job. And it has a little bit of noise canceling to it, so if I like walk to the other side of the microphone, you have a harder time hearing me than if I have it pointed at me. And then I can hit that mute button and you don't hear me at all. I can turn down the volume. You can hear me a little bit or not at all. If the dog starts barking, la, 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 you have two options to stop that noise coming through the microphone. And that's what I like about this fine right here. Highly suggest that right there. But anyway, let's do this. Let's get this puppy going. So we have the Raspberry Pi. Where the camera is going to go is right here in this little slot right here, because you have a pin configuration, you have a slot. So we'll probably have to open up the case. But what I want to do first is I want to set this up and show you basically how this is all going to go. So we're going to start. I got my video cable right here, and then we're going to plug it in. This is the adapter cable right here. Connected up. We've got a power source, which is right here. The USB is already plugged in for the keyboard and mouse, and I like this because it's all one unit. And then we're going to plug in the camera. Now, the thing about the Raspberry USB is you have USB 2 on the far end, and you have USB 3 on the close end. So technically, I should have my Wi-Fi over here, and then all the lower need stuff like the keyboard and mouse up there. It doesn't need that much juice to run. Actually, I'll just put it all over here and then let the camera take up USB 3.0 ports. You do have to load up an SD card. And when you get your Raspberry Pi, they say go to this website. It has all the instructions. It'll tell you which version of Raspberry Pi you should download. You do have other options, different, like Ubuntu. You have different operating systems that you can use. We're using Raspbian, which is Pi's their main operating system. Now, I've had this loaded for a while. I also put on a program called VNC, so you'll be able to see it without me having to point a camera at the screen. But if everything fails, I do have that option to do that. So with that said and done, I'm going to bring up the machine here. And it connects up just fine. Perfect. So here we are. We are in a Raspberry Pi scene, and I can actually use the mouse from my computer, or I can use the mouse that's hooked up into the Raspberry Pi. So as you can see, if you install Raspberry, the Raspbian OS, this is what you're going to see upon first start. Now, depending on when you watch this video, things might change. They might change the background depending on if they've updated the software or anything like that. So, don't freak out too much. But this is the basic overlay of Raspberry and the Pi model. So on the left side, you have your drop-down menu that has all these cool games and accessories. You can turn this into a Minecraft Pi or do some Python gaming, learn some Pythoning. Programming, they have some stuff here, education stuff, office stuff. So, and we'll get into some of these other programs, but mainly right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to Zoom. The biggest issue with Zoom is that there is no downloadable program for Linux. If you have Windows or Mac, there's, you log in and then you download the software and then you can use it. You can also use the browser, and that's what we're going to do here. We're going to go to the web browser, which is Chromium, which is based on Chrome, which if you use it on your Windows or Mac, the same thing here. So if you have Chromium, you can basically log in to Chrome, or you can download Firefox and use that. That's perfectly acceptable too. Well, Zoom.com will get you there. So you'll want to log into your account, and I've already logged in here. And simply, you'll either join a meeting or you'll host a meeting. Now, you'll join a meeting simply by getting the meeting information and doing that. But we're just going to host a meeting, make it easy, and we're going to do it with a video on. You can also do a screen share. And what's really cool about this, and I didn't really talk about it too much, is you could actually set up a second Zoom account. And then that just be this screen share. And you're good to go. So think about that. Then you have two computers, not bogging down your resources, and still be able to present and talk about different things. So that's always a good addition. When we do this, it says, okay, do you want to open XDG open? And it says when the system dialog prompts, you click open. I'm not sure why it does that, because we don't need this. We'll go back here. Oh, okay. So yeah. We'll hit cancel here. Now here we go. We have the, if you cannot download or run the application, join from your browser. I saw somebody just clicked one of the links. Thank you very much. And that's going to run your Zoom meeting. And we'll join audio by computer. So now we can, I'm in a meeting as the host. I can turn on start the video. And that's going to start my Logitech video. And there I am right there. And the frame rate's going to be horrible on this because I'm going through an emulator. But when you have it on your main screen on the Raspberry Pi, it's going to look a lot better. So don't worry about this part. This is basically connection going to a connection, doing extra steps that we don't normally do. So, and actually it's working a lot, not as well as it was working before. But that's okay. That's okay. So, so at the emulator, in fact, let me do this. Let me just show you. We'll go to the PTZ. We'll go to the screen here. I set this up so this will do that. So we'll go to my screen. This is where I see all my stuff here. And then I'll go to my second HDMI. This is where you will see the screen. As you can see, it looks a lot better. It's still not perfect. There's still something going on. I did do a couple updates, but if you're not doing any recording or anything like that, you're just meeting with clients or anything, something like that, then this is perfect because you can do your meetings and or your team building sessions or whatever. All right. With that said, with that done, as you can see, Zoom works pretty well. We can make it. Let's say you don't have the C920 camera. Well, that's where this is going to come in. That's what we're going to talk about next. So let's switch back here. And then we're going to switch back to the other part here. We'll go back here and we'll go here. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut down the Raspberry Pi. And I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. Like that. And we're going to take out the video. We're going to unplug everything because, it'll be easier because I'm going to have to take this, pretty sure I'm going to have to take this case apart. Let's get this camera installed. And in order to do that, I need a screwdriver. Boom, screwdriver. So with that said, with that done, hopefully this screwdriver will take care of these screws. And it will not. Oh, yeah, it will. What am I saying? Oh, that was pretty easy. There we are. And there we are. And did I have any heat sinks on these fans? Yeah, no. It's just the Now we have, this is the Pi right here. What we're going to add is the camera. So here it is. This is a long runner. Let's get this up on the screen. The long runner camera. There we are right there for Raspberry Pi. You can get different versions of this. Let's pop here. This one's got day and night vision IR cut video camera. So you can use it for a little bit more. It could become a nice little security camera for you if you think about it, if you're not going to use it for Zoom or anything like that. So there's a lot of different options with this camera right here. All right, this does 1080p. It's got a, it supports all PRI models, Raspberry Pi camera, compatible with Raspberry Pi 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I actually do have a Raspberry Pi Model A. I don't know if that will work. Yeah, it says Model A, A+. So definitely there. And a lot more. So it didn't come with instructions, so I'm hoping that it's going to show it here. It should be pretty straightforward how to connect it up. There it is right there. So we'll come here. So we're going to take this, and here we are. It looks like these are the lenses. Do I have to solder this? Oh no, there's screws. There we go. I should probably looked at this before I... And here's the camera. And technically, I suppose we don't need to connect up the two lenses. I thought this would be one unit, but apparently it is not. And it really doesn't say which one goes where. Let's see if there's a indicator or anything like that. I don't see any indicators. So, interesting. Now, it also looks foolproof, so if I put it above or below, they've got little metal contacts. Let's see how far we can zoom in so you can see what's going on here. So, with these things, they have like little metal contacts on the ends. So, as you can see, they have like little gold contacts where the screws will go into. So, I'm guessing if you put this above or below, they'll keep the contact and use it from there. But we can also leave that off. We got a little sensor right there. You can kind of see it flashing. And then the main lens, which I think has got a lens cap on. It looks like it does. How does that lens cap come off? Yep, it just pops right off. And there's the lens right there. So this camera doesn't have any stand or anything like that, so you'll have to be a little bit creative on how to put that together. But you know, sometimes that's the fun part, is to figure out how to put it all together. Little tiny screws. This is gonna be fun. Come on, come out. Come out of your baggie. So it looks like we have a screw and a nut. So basically what you'll do is you'll take one side, and we'll just take one screw and one nut right now. And hopefully I'll be able to see this. Yeah, I guess I should have checked this out before I opened it. But I wanted to be as, you know, see what you see type thing. So there we go. Not that difficult. It takes, you know, takes a little bit of thought and patience. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just a little patience. It might be a good idea to get some locking washers or something like that, and definitely get some sort of Loctiter so they stay tight. So that's what it looks like when it's connected. Now I also got it with the ribbon cable, and oh yeah, it came with a screwdriver. Oh, look at that. I should have unpacked the whole box. I got two ribbon cables here. Interesting. I thought it only did one. Maybe this is for Pi, and I bet you this is for a different type of camera. Let me double check here, because once again, there's no instructions. Yeah. All right. Oh, we'll start with this one, and if it's not the right one, I'll probably know. So let's take this, and basically we're just putting it into the connector here. So you got to pop out the side. Basically, this is a little pop out. So it pops up. You put the cable in, you push it in, and it should tighten up. Slide that in and make sure that's seated okay. And then we'll pop it down. I'm not going to put the case back on for now. One thing we still have to do is, and we'll say sudo, whoops, It would help if I'm on the right screen here. Okay. Sudo apt dash get update dash update, or okay, sudo apt dash get update upgrade, and then we'll go sudo raspi dash config. All right, from here it will say the interface options. So we'll go down to 5 and we'll select. We will choose camera and select. Would you like the camera interface to be enabled? So we'll say yes. Camera interface is enabled. Boom, just like that. And then we'll hit finish. Whoops. So used to it being an interface, it's text. So finish. Would you like to reboot now? Oh, I guess we have to reboot. So we'll do that. And then we're going to join from the browser. We will not open the XDG because that's just going to open up another page. I think we have to cancel that first. We'll join from the browser. Hello. Once again, you're seeing it through the emulator, so it's not going to be perfect, but it's got a little bit here. In fact, here, let me show you. There we are. There we are. Maybe I'll show you through the second one here. Let's do that. Let's go here. That's what I'm seeing on my TV right now. And of course, it's a little jumpy because I'm holding on to it gingerly. So that's basically setting up your Zoom through a Raspberry Pi. Whether you have a Logitech C920 or you have you just put together a little camera right here and have some fun with it. It's pretty amazing what you can do with these little computers. And the price on this, you know, it really probably, okay, yeah, I'll probably go a little bit over $100 if you get an older version of Pi. You can definitely use this. This camera is meant for older, many different versions of Pi. I will try and set this up so it's a little bit more stable. And then maybe use it in one of my future videos. So I connected everything up and I put this kind of on a stand, used a little bit of tape and a little bit of a stand I had. There are some stands that you can get, but I guess I just didn't order thinking about that. So I put something together. It's actually pretty cool. Take a look. So this is the whole unit. We've got the Pi, the Raspberry Pi 4 right there. Of course, the cable's coming out of it. We've got the microphone, which is right here, the little gooseneck microphone. And then, of course, the camera with the infrared lights for night vision to help with that. I suppose I could actually get these changed out for actual LED lights to really enhance on the video, because the video turns out this way. So basically, I've attached it to Zoom, and I'm running a Zoom meeting as we're talking. So this is kind of how it will look in your Zoom meeting. So of course, I would probably put this camera up a little bit higher so it don't look down at you. But if you were having a simple conversation with employees or friends or family or anything like that, this is perfect for that that type of information. But of course, if you want to get a hold of me, all you have to do is think Geekazine, think magazine, put in a geek. That's how I said it. Think magazine, put in a geek, and you got me. Its socials are right there. And that's it. That was that's putting together a Raspberry Pi for your Zoom calls. I don't know what other teleconference programs you can use with the Pi, but you can definitely give it a try. I know that I use a special program that sends out a web browser link, and that's where you connect your camera and your microphone to. So if I was to send that link to you and you were using the Raspberry Pi, you'd be able to connect up without a problem. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. But that has been another Geek Tech Talk Live with Jeffrey Powers. We're having some fun with Raspberry Pis. And as I go, I'll find some more really cool projects to do with these smaller computers. Maybe the Jetson. We had the Jetson over there. We had the Raspberry Pi. Maybe I'll get one of those other ones, the C4 that he was that the one he was talking about? Oh, the Odroid C4, and just have some fun with that. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. You guys geek out. We'll see you next time, and take care.